Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Faith Cantor and this is my Detox Summit with the lead up to my book Living a Life Less Toxic. And I'm here today to interview Charlie Morley. Hi Charlie.
Hello, how's it going? Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. Charlie is a Hay House author, now let me see if I can get all this right, a speaker, teacher. You run workshops, you do it all over the world as well, don't you? It's not just sort of in the UK.
Yeah, it's fun, yeah.
And you've written a couple of books,
yeah.
And you teach, now it's mindfulness through sleep and dreams or
Yeah,
something?
so mindfulness of dream and sleep.
So
lucid dreaming is the kind of sexy bit, and that's the bit that everyone wants to talk about, which is training yourself to become fully conscious within your dreams. Yeah. But what I teach is mindfulness of dream and sleep. Now, the core part of that is lucid dreaming, but it also teaches people how to meditate into sleep. So I work with a lot of insomniacs, people who have anxiety about getting to sleep. It tells people how to be lucid in the daytime, so they're not just aware at night, they're bringing this awareness into their daily activities, and how to use the whole of sleep. So rather than just focusing on the dreams, I'm about using that whole of the third of our lives that we spend asleep to aid ourselves, to get to know our minds. And this one's good for you, and to be able to detox on our habits, because a lot of our habits can be very toxic, and we don't know our habits because we don't know our mind. Now, if you get into if you get into your own dreams, if you get to know your dreams, you get to know your habits. And once you get to know your habits, you can detox from the inside.
Wow. That gives everyone quite a lot to think about already, doesn't it? Just straight in there. When I use mindfulness myself and I meditation and things like that, and I've found it a great help to my own health. I was insomniac, and after meditating, within days, I went from either no sleep or just 2 or 3 hours to 7 or 8 hours a night.
Brilliant.
It was just amazing how quickly the change was. And obviously it brings down your anxiety and stress and things like that. So when I came across your work, I was like, what's this about? sort of thing. And I was absolutely fascinated that you could help heal yourself whilst you're sleeping. Because I think a lot of us see that as dead time, really. We just sleep because we're tired.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I was completely fascinated that you could actually use it to help heal mental and physical things as well, can't you?
Yeah, and once you learn the stuff, you start to be kind of excited about going to bed. Suddenly bed is like an event. It's not just a place to sleep. You're like, what's going to happen tonight? And it's cool because you end up feeling like a kind of a child. You know how a child looks forward to bed because of the bedtime story or the ritual of being bathed by his mum or dad before bed or something. You get that. You get excited about going to sleep because of the potential. And to mention the healing potential you were speaking of, in a nutshell, if you can treat it through hypnotherapy, you can treat it through lucid dreaming. Because in the same way as a hypnotherapist is taking a strand of the conscious mind, bringing it down to the subconscious, and engaging or dropping a suggestion of healing intent or a way to move beyond our habits. In a lucid dream, you're doing the same. But the thing about a lucid dream is you're fully conscious, not just within the shallows of the subconscious, which is where we might go in hypnosis, but actually the deepest part of the unconscious, simply because you can't get more unconscious than asleep. So if you plant a suggestion of healing intent in the lucid dream, it can work very, very powerfully. Now, I say this with full respect to hypnosis. I did hypnosis training in my early 20s. The wonderful teacher who's now dead called Mervyn Minnell-Jones. And in fact, hypnosis is much more accessible than lucid dreaming. We could do hypnosis in this Skype call if we had an extra 20 or 30 minutes. But to have a lucid dream, we'd have to switch off the computer, we'd have to go to our bed, we'd have to pass through the deep sleep stages and then pop up into dream and then know what we're doing. So it's not that lucid dreaming is better than any of the other healing modalities we can do when we're awake. But it's a direct way to access the unconscious when you're asleep. And that's its unique thing. So that third of our lives we spend in bed can now be used for healing in the same way as we can do in our waking time.
Wow. So for the listeners that don't know, sort of what exactly is lucid dreaming?
Yeah. So a lucid dream is a dream where you know you're dreaming as the dream is happening. So it's not just a really vivid dream. Sometimes people tell me, I have really lucid dreams. and I kind of know they're not quite sure what it means because they're not using lucid in the right way. Well, in fact, they are. Grammatically, they're using it correctly because lucid means something with clarity, something that we see clearly. But lucid dreaming has that name when it should really be called conscious dreaming, because the definition of a lucid dream is the fact we're fully conscious within a dream that may be very vivid and lucid, as it were, but it's actually the conscious bit that defines it. So you're not half awake, half asleep. It's not just a really vivid dream. It's not an out-of-body experience. It's a dream where you're sound asleep, but part of the brain switches on, and you have the aha moment of, wow, this is all a dream. Now, for often people, it's so exciting, they wake up within like 5 seconds. They're like, oh my God, it's a dream. This is so cool. Boom. And they wake up with their kind of heart pounding, wishing they could get back there. But if you learn the art of lucid dreaming, so how to do it intentionally, not just waiting for it to spontaneously happen, which for many people it does, maybe once every couple of months or something, then you can plan for what to do. So you can intentionally go in there, stabilize the dream, and then, in the case of the guy who worked with nicotine addiction, you could call out, I live a healthy lifestyle, free of the addiction of nicotine. In fact, in my book, that's not what he yelled out. He ignored my advice. He actually went in there and met his brain. He called out to meet his brain, and this woman appeared in the dream, and he said, who are you? And she said, I'm your brain. And he said, what? What do you mean? You're like the personification of my brain. And she went, yeah, in dream form. And he went, oh, cool. Well, look, if you're my brain and you're where my kind of addiction lies, perhaps, can you help me stop smoking? And his brain said, yeah, sure thing. And he made this deal with his brain that whenever he thought about cigarettes, he would think, he asked his brain, make me think of something else, make me do something else. And he woke up and he hasn't smoked since, 2 years later. And that's the first case study in my new book, if people want to read the report. So actually, that's probably the most direct. Oh, wow, perfect. Well done on the advertising. You're much better prepared than me. So actually, that's a perfect example of detoxing through lucid dreaming. I was kind of thinking before this interview, what's my angle? This is about detox. How does lucid dreaming detox? And then since we've been on air, I've thought of like two big things. It detoxes our habits, and it detoxes us, physically from the inside. So yeah, maybe my next book will be Lucid Dreaming, Detoxing the Mind.
Yeah, I like the sound of that one. Is the example you just mentioned, is it, I can't remember if it's in the book or I heard you talk about it. Is that the same chap that his partner sent him out to buy cigarettes for him and kept forgetting to buy them? It worked that well.
Yeah, Antonio, so this is what's called, it's quite a rare occurrence, but you find it in hypnosis. It's called negative hallucination, which is where the hypnotic suggestion is so strong that the subject will literally not see what you have hypnotized them not to see. And in this case, his boyfriend had sent him to get cigarettes on 2 occasions on this long list, a list of things to buy from Tesco's or whatever it was. And he bought everything on the list except cigarettes. And when he was asked about it, he said, no, I didn't forget. You didn't write it down. So he literally didn't see the word cigarettes. And you're thinking, oh my God, this is insane. Yeah. And for anyone who's got a little bit of experience in hypnosis, as I have myself, will know that, nicotine addiction is a very difficult one. Because there's so many addictions working there. There's an addiction to doing something to your fingers. There's a physical addiction. There's the social addiction. There's the mental addiction. All of this stuff. So to be able to do it in one lucid dream really showed the power of this stuff.
Yeah, it does seem really, really powerful.
Yeah.
I've read your book and your first one as well, and there's just like case study after case study of how it sort of helped people with lots of different health conditions.
Yeah.
Not just sort of obviously addictions, but just all sorts of things, isn't there?
There's a guy, Bruno, also in the second book, who used it for his kidney disease. Now, Bruno, he's a very switched on young man, so he wasn't so frivolous as to say, oh, it was just the lucid dream that did it. In the lucid dream, the placebo effect is amplified greatly. Somebody recently said, oh, it's just a placebo effect in lucid dreams. I'm like, dude, if you understood the placebo effect, you would never use the prefix just. There's nothing just about the placebo. It should be, wow, the placebo. So if we know how powerful the placebo is in the waking state, imagine if you apply that to within a 3-dimensional projection of the mind's own creation, and then you apply the placebo. Yeah, it's like placebo max. So anyway, in this case, he went into the lucid dream and he did hands-on healing on his kidneys. So he placed his hands on his kidneys within the dream, and he said he felt kind of, he's asleep in bed, of course, not moving his hands, but in the dream he does it. And he said he felt kind of electricity pass through his hands, and he woke up in the morning and the creatine levels stabilized for 6 months. Creatine levels is the kind of way you look at the health of the kidney, as it were. But he said yes, the lucid dream was powerful and seemed to definitely have an effect. But he said the longer lasting change was the fact that in the lucid dream he had the realization that he was spending his whole waking time going, oh, why aren't my kidneys working? Why aren't my kidneys working? Why aren't my kidneys working? Instead of saying, wow, my kidneys have worked without fail for 31 years. Never once have they stopped. Not in my sleep, not in my wake, not when they're doing anything. The kidneys are constantly working. And yet, had he ever stopped to say thank you to them? And he said, actually, after that lucid dream, he started to say thank you to his kidneys. Thank you for working so well. And that shift in perspective, he believed, was, just as powerful as the lucid dream itself. And that was a great insight to me. And I've started running whole meditations now at my retreats where we say thank you to our body. And people kind of laugh. You're saying, say thank you to your body. And they laugh. And I say, well, when did you last say thank you? Like our heart. Our heart, unless you've had a heart attack or some types of stroke, has never stopped beating for however old you are. Never stopped beating. And yet have we ever just put our hand on our heart and said, thank you for keeping me alive. Thank you for letting me live my life. Anything we've done in our life, we can trace back to a source of our heart being beating. If our heart wasn't beating, we'd never have met our partner. We would never have survived as long. We would never have seen the birth of whoever it is. Everything, we can come back to the fact our heart's been beating. So actually to say thank you to the physical organ of the heart is really an expression of this lucid living that I was talking about earlier in the mindfulness of dream and sleep approach, about seeing this life as a bit more dreamlike, which actually doesn't mean in a nihilistic way as in, oh, it's all a dream, let's not show up for work. It means, well, if in a dream I say thank you to my heart, something happens in the dream, like suddenly, I've done it and flowers started sprouting everywhere, as if the dream was saying like thank you and giving me flowers because I love flowers. So in this dream, this waking shared dream of life, yeah, maybe flowers don't sprout, but I'm still going to give it a go and say thank you to my heart and see that something changes in our body when we do it.
Yeah, that's really powerful stuff, actually, just that by itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that we spend all day, well, not all day, but a lot of our life sort of saying, oh, to our body, it's too fat, my back aches, my foot hurts, whatever it is, my stomach's upset. And I know myself through my own healing from ME, chronic fatigue syndrome, that I was slowly getting better and better through what I do. And then one day, I can't remember, it must have been something I read or watched or something, and I realised the same thing, that even though I was getting better, I was still sort of, you're almost sort of looking for the problems in your body. What's that? Why does that hurt? That sort of thing. And I started, I do quite a lot of EFT tapping, and I started tapping, thanking my body, for what it had been doing, for what I'd put it through, for looking after me. And a lot of the things I think that I manifested in my own health were ways of protecting myself from things that had happened to me and stuff like that. So I started thanking it for protecting me and all this other stuff. And I felt a massive shift. Brilliant. In not just mentally but physically as well. So yeah, it's really powerful stuff to sort of, think about what we're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Words are powerful.
Yeah. So when you're in a lucid dream then, if these sort of things come up, what you're saying is then sort of bring them into your daily life then and be more lucid during the day with them, yeah? Yeah,
it often just happens. You don't really need to make it happen. It will seem so natural. People say sometimes, how will I know if the lucid dreams worked? To heal myself or to integrate my nightmares or to work with my phobia. I'm like, well, the next day you won't be scared of that thing. Like, it's literally that simple. If you go into the lucid dream and work with a phobia of spiders, the next day when you see a spider, you won't be as scared. So you won't need to ask, like, is it working? You'll see, like, oh my God, it's working. Yeah. So the great thing is that the lucid living stuff kind of happens naturally. Like, if you start to have insights into the fact that this could all be a bit more dreamlike than we think, then I don't have to think that I want to be kind to you. I don't have to think, oh, I'm Buddhist, so because I'm Buddhist, I should try and be kind to faith. It's like, it's the opposite. It's the fact that if this is truly a dream, then you're part of me. You're a female aspect of me who specializes in detox. Like if you were a dream character, what an important dream character you'd be, the divine feminine who's like detoxing my mind. So it would happen naturally that I try and give you everything, that I try and be kind to you. It's not because we're trying to be nice. It's simply common sense that if this truly is a dream and we're all dreamers in the same dream, then it's just common sense to be cool to people and to try to stop, just don't be a dick. Sorry to use that, but someone put on my Facebook a few days ago, they always put these memes, these quotes from Buddha on people's Facebooks, and half of the time the quotes are incorrect. They're just some self-help dude, and they've just kind of said that it's a quote from Buddha. And then recently someone put up on my site, it was a kind of picture of a sitting Buddha, and it said, don't be a dick, Buddha. 2500 BC, 500 BC. And I thought that's actually probably the best quote from Buddha I've ever heard. That's basically it in a nutshell, Buddhism. Don't be a dick. Just like, be cool to people. Be cool to yourself, be cool to people. That's lucid living.
Great. So if someone's sort of new to all this, which I'm expecting a few of the listeners will be, because I was new to it myself. So, where would you say they sort of begin with it? Obviously, apart from reading.
Ta-da! Yeah, there's the book stuff. Actually, I've got something really cool launching on Friday, which will be Friday the 15th. It's launching, so I don't know when this video is coming out, which is an online video course that I've done, which is really good. It's like 60 videos, 5.5 hours of footage, and once you buy it, it's yours forever. You've got like a login forever, so you can watch the videos again and again. You don't have to do it within the 7-week framework. So that's a new thing I've got coming out. Or books, my books, other people's books, YouTube stuff. I'm not actually that bothered about people teaching themselves to learn using my methods. I'm bothered about them learning. And I'm sure I'm supposed to be saying on behalf of Hay House, just buy my books and this kind of stuff. But actually, I'm about creating a movement, not about selling books. So yeah, I think some of my books are probably some of the easiest ways to learn lucid dreaming. But whatever, go on the internet, ask your friends, read books in the library. But teach yourself to lucid dream. It's just such a powerful tool that is totally free. There's no guru to worship. There's no religion to be part of. There's no cult to give 10% of your annual income to. You just learn the techniques and you do it in your sleep. I mean, that's nuts. Now, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but it's not overly difficult. It is a challenging meditation technique. And within Tibetan Buddhism, it's definitely not seen as a beginner technique. It's seen as, a reasonably challenging meditation technique. But once you start having lucid dreams, it's a powerful, powerful healing modality, and allows you access to that most powerful part of yourself, which is the unconscious mind. So I'd tell people, I don't care how you learn, but learn, because this stuff can change your life.
Great. And you do run overnight workshops as well, don't you?
Oh yeah, of course, there's the workshops. So so if you just check out my website, charliemorley.com, then there's all the workshops coming up. Yeah, I'd probably teach in the UK once a month, and then other countries on the other weekends. So yeah, if you're UK based or Europe based or even in America, there'll be stuff in all those places coming up. And the sleepover retreats are quite fun if people are into them. In the day it's like a lucid dream workshop, and then at night there's the optional sleepover practices. So if you want, you can just stay in your room. But if you're up for it, then at 3:30 in the morning, you go from your bedroom to the shrine room, and you have a second bed set up, like a sacred sleeping area. And there's all candles and incense, and it's all very kind of beautiful, actually, beautiful energy. And then you go back to sleep. So you do sleep again from 3:30 till 8 in the morning, but you have me waking you up every 90 minutes and giving you a certain meditation technique to do for 5 minutes and then falling back asleep and then waking you up for 5 minutes, then back asleep, which for some people sounds like a nightmare, actually. But if you're up for it, it's like a spiritual slumber party, and you get loads of kind of real time to do the practice. And when you've got like 20 or 30 people all bedded down in a big hall having this kind of lucid dreaming pajama party and all focusing on one thing, the energy in the room is just so powerful. And we have so many brilliant dreams. Of course, a lot of lucid dreams too, but just normal, non-lucid, great dreams as well.
I was about to say, I bet the energy's something special, because just from attending normal workshops, that when you're with like-minded people, it lifts you, doesn't it? You can feel it. So I can imagine it's one of your overnight lucid dreaming slumber parties, as you put it. It must be pretty cool.
Yeah, they're really fun, definitely.
Good. Okay, so that's probably all I want to pester you with this evening.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us, and all your details are going to be below the video, so anyone can just click on those and go straight through to find out more about your workshops or the book. I will wave it one more time.
Thank you.
This is the beginner's guide for anyone that does want to know, so it's a really great place to start of your 2 books, isn't it?
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
It's been brilliant, and I'll sign off for now then.
Great, thank you so much. Bye, see ya.